Hello, Dean and Jackson. Thank you so much. You both did a great job working on this assignment. And I'm going to go ahead and go over the images with you and some feedback I had. So here we're looking at Dean's. So here is your before, and here is the after. So it's always nice to see some big improvements from before and after. So Dean, you were presented with kind of a tricky situation because you're photographing girls in white tutus, in white leotards against a white wall. And here you did make the decision, as you mentioned, to just go ahead and make the wall go pure white, and you wondered if you should have made it darker. I agree with your decision to keep it white. I don't think it would have looked good because when we don't light a white background, it becomes a dull sort of gray. So it would have looked like this. And I don't think that that looks very nice. If you are intentionally using a white background to be gray, it is better to get your subjects further away from it so that it goes darker and darker. But that actually depends on the light source. So I think another challenging thing you're dealing with here is your light source. And I'm not sure what it is. I'd be curious if you tell me, are you just working with the lights there in the studio? Are these track lights? Because I would recommend that you overpower those lights or turn them off and bring your own lighting. Because these shadows, where this light source is coming over from the right here and creating these dark shadows on each girl's shoulder, and these harsh shadows across their face. They're young, so it's not super unflattering in that it's a harsh light source. But you can see the difference on this little girl on the left, who's more evenly lit somehow by where she's sitting and who's casting shadows on her, how her face looks compared to this girl who's getting that really hot highlight from that light, that harsh shadow under her neck and chin. This is not ideal. So lighting them either with two lights on either side at 245-degree angles to create a nice even lighting. When you're lighting a group, you actually need to get the lights further away. If you want to look into the inverse square law, you'll see that when you're lighting a group with two lights that you position, if you look at the video of me, you position them at 245-degree angles facing the subject like this. The further you are back, the more evenly the light disperses across, and then all of your subjects will be lit evenly. You will be able to visualize the even lighting, or if you use a light meter, an incident light meter, a handheld light meter, you'll be able to see that they're all lit evenly. So I recommend that. I think even with how bright white the background is, because of the neutral tone of their skin coming through, you still have some detail around the edges. The tutus have the sparkles and a bit of gray. So they are distinguished from the background. This is clearly an improvement over the original shot. You did some nice adjustments, individually adjusting each person, you say, with the radial gradient tool, using the linear gradient tool on the wall to brighten it, I guess, in the background mask. I'm curious then, right, use the healing tool on the left, and I would just, there's one that is still here, I would just go ahead and get that one out. Probably after working on everything else, maybe you just overlooked it. So I would just, I should be on the healing tool. I would just go ahead and add that one. Oh, my opacity is way down. And just get rid of that one too, to clean up your background perfectly. And I think if they haven't seen this already, they're going to be really happy with it. And I think you did a very nice job. And the floor is not clean, and that's not your fault. So as far as lightening and darkening, I am sort of curious, like if we brought in, let's just take a look here, like a linear gradient on some of these edges and just sort of darkened it. Yeah, because you don't want to hit the dancers. That might be something it does look a little better to me to darken the ground, like you can see there, and then maybe pulling in another one. I get confused with this when you've already used the tool. I don't want to reset. I just want to do another selection. Oh, here you go. And then I might do one from down here and just go for that darkening again. See, you don't want to go too hard on eliminating the scratches and stuff, but I do think by darkening the ground, you can hide some of the blemishes and the scratches and things like that. And that also does make the dancers pop out a little bit more. So those are my suggestions with that. And I think you did a very nice job. And let me know if you have any questions about the lighting, or you can even do with that white wall, and I'm sure they have a white ceiling, you can do a lot with your bounce and your own flash to overpower those existing tungsten light sources, and just go ahead and light these girls so that they get a flat but even light on their face, which is a little more flattering. All right, now we're going to look at Jackson's. So you started with this image here back at Mount Mitchell, and you decided to retouch out this couple here at the end of the walkway. And you asked how you could improve this. So it got a little dark. The correct tools to use are something like the clone or the healing brush. So I went ahead, I would recommend just using the healing brush. And this is the technique I would use. Get in really close, zoom in. So what I did just now is I hit Command plus to zoom in. Then I'm holding the space bar. That's going to give me a little hand where I can navigate. And I'm using the mouse to click to get right on the pixels of these people. Now, lucky for you, it's overcast. So you have a really white sky and you have a clean line to cut here. That's really simple to do. So my brush size, you can see, is too big. So I can go over here to the slider bar and just change the size to make it a lot smaller. I didn't mean to do that, but it's okay. It doesn't hurt anything. You see my opacities at 100. It's never really recommended by any professional I've learned from to retouch at 100. You can reduce that to about 75 to start, or even 50. It gives you a more natural look. If we're using the clone tool, I'll leave the feathering. Actually, I'll reduce the feathering because you have a nice hard line you can work with. And then I would select something from out here, the white sky. So Option, click. And then I would just start slowly coming in and painting over. It's a little time consuming to get a clean line, but if you do these large strokes, sometimes it works out. So it's working for me now, so I'm going to do it. I can boost my opacity a little if I want to start seeing the white. And you just paint over. See, now that didn't work out for me. You just paint over and over, and then I'll do a screenshot of what I came up with. So this is where I cut them out. And I do actually see a line here I don't like. So I would just go in again and just keep painting until you get a nice smooth background. And as you zoom out, you see that I didn't get that heavy duty dark spot like you got. And I think that if you just go a little slower and don't really darken the sky, like I think you brought in some darkening here. Your sky is overcast, so I would just leave it and let it be white. When you're trying to bring in any detail, you're not going to get any detail because nothing was captured by the camera. The whites are, they're blown out to pure white. So by trying to darken it, it just gives you these artificial kind of pixelated artifacts. And I don't think those enhance the image. So I would just go ahead and leave it white and just slowly kind of paint over those people to remove them from the shot. So I definitely think the brush and the cloning tool, just don't use it at 100% and just take your time. Zoom in really close and slowly paint over until you get the desired effect. So here's the before and there's the after. I hope that's helpful to you, and please let me know if you have any additional questions. Bye.